Good day, my fellow collectors. We have a Greenlight of a classic Mini Cooper here, so let's take a look-see. I love this car. I used to have a 1991 Mini Mayfair, and it was an 1100cc, and that is the only car I've ever had that actually drove like a sports car, like in bone stock form. I had a Mazda Miata, the first gen, but that thing felt like a boat compared to a Mini. It wasn't until I had to put in a Tokiko suspension and 250 horsepower to make the Miata fun. But the 1100 Mini, I mean, that thing probably only had like 60 horsepower, and it drove like a go-kart. It was so entertaining to drive. And it's the only car I've ever owned like that. So, oh well. Just a random story from my past. And so henceforth, I have a soft spot for this car in reality. Alright, so let's take a look at a couple of these things. So the Mark 1 Minis, they're very early ones, whether they're Austins or Morrises, all part of the British Motor Corporation. They have these mustache grills where it actually comes down here. It might be a little hidden from that bumper. That's how you tell them apart from the latter ones, which have a more like a pentagonal or like a geometric grill. Alright. So these wheels are called Mini Lights, and I'm pretty sure they're developed specifically for the Mini. And then another cue for the classic Mark 1s is they have these like ovalish type of taillights, where more modern ones would have rectangular taillights. I just love that photo. These are front wheel drive cars. They had the engine and the transmission sharing the same oil, so literally the engine was bolted to the top of the transmission, and so my Mini leaked like a quart of oil every week. It was not oil tight, let's put it that way, but it was still a fun car to drive, although things tend to break on it when I drove it. Alright, let's look at this guy here. It's not metallic, and my phone here is making this look like it's sky blue. But when I look at it, it's kind of like a mix of sky blue and gray. It's somewhere in between there. I'm seeing a lot of gray in it instead of blue. Alright, well, we have a tampo print of this 53, and you know what, let me bring that packaging back. I don't know, I have to assume this is a real photograph because it looks like an advertisement from BMC. So I did a search for, Morris Mini 53, and I couldn't find anything, so it's too bad. Or I wonder, nah, it can't be photoshopped, right? It literally had the BMC logo and text down there, so. Alright, well, if anyone knows the story behind the number 53 car, that would be cool to know. I read that this year of Mini Cooper S would either have a 1 liter or a 1275cc motor, and so the power was between 50 to 80 horsepower. Alright, so another nice touch the Greenlight did get correct is the chrome molding that runs from the very front of this fender all the way across to the very back of that fender. So that's a little thing that's on real Minis. These tires look pretty good actually, and they don't look, well, they kind of look like rally tires on the side, and this one is probably not very concentric, but the width of them looks appropriate for the day. I mean, if this looks like a Mini tire to me, the proportions of it, maybe not the tread's a little bit big, but it's pretty good. Alright, so the Mark 1 Minis had external hinges and a chrome door handle sticking out, and then this is a seam for welding. This is where the rear part and the front part were welded together. Alright, and then we have a white painted roof on this guy. We don't have the actual seams. Well, it's kind of there. There's a welding seam holding the roof on. And you can kind of see how it sticks out a little bit here around the whole perimeter of the Mini. So that's not bad. White interior. It's nice to see a different color plastic. I don't know why other brands tend to just stick with black. So this is nice. Alright, the 53 is good on the front as well. We have some molded in and raised painted silver wiper blades, some silver trim for the chrome window molding. Unfortunately, not quite enough there. And then, you know, as much as I don't like stark white headlights, at least these have tape over them, so it looks a little bit better than usual. And it also has, you know, black, like the rubber molding, and then silver, the chrome bezel of the headlight itself. So there's actually a lot of printing going on in that headlight, although a little bit is scratched off again. So unfortunately, the silver mustache is missing the actual ends of the mustache here. I guess would be really hard for them to print that in there. It's so small. And then what's going on with these things? Oh, they taped off the turn signals as well. Alright, it's good ribbing here in the grill. Sounds like it's part of the metal casting. And then that's the Morris Mini logo, not the Austin Mini logo. Yeah, well, it's not really legible, but that's what it looks like. Not really even centered either. So this chrome bumper, I think it's not horizontal. It's bent down. The question is, what would happen if I try to push this up? It's going to just break off the pegs. You know, I wonder if this is metal. No, it's got to be plastic, right? Well, I have to leave that one the way it is, or I'll have to fiddle with it later off camera. Okay, going around to this side. Yeah, not much different except we have a fuel filler cap here. Some silver paint again on the rear window, although it's kind of showing some of the body color through it. And then this is a handle for the trunk. An S, Morris Cooper. Yeah, it's not really legible there. A light to shine upwards on the license plate, and then taped off taillights are pretty cool too. Alright, the separate rear bumper is much more horizontal and better than the front. I am now noticing there's a little black circle in the mini light wheels here, so that's a nice detail. Alright, and then a tiny exhaust tip. So we have a metal base here, is riveted in the front. I don't understand what's going on in the back. Oh, look at this. I'm going to guess there's a metal tab hidden back there. So, alright. And then it's nice that Greenlight writes the year, what the car is, and then who made it, and then here, when it was made roughly. So this is great for collectors, you know, long term. If you see this on eBay in 20 years, you might be able to put a better value on it just based on its age. Alright, so that's good. So you can see that's the transmission housing, and there's a gasket up here holding the top half, which is holding the cylinders and all that stuff. And there's that gasket that leaked a lot, I think, on my particular one. I also let my friend drive it once, and he slammed the gas and the exhaust broke right here, the clamp holding on the rear. So I had a couple reliability issues driving this car. But still, it was magnificent. It was a fun car. You wouldn't want to daily drive it, but for a fun toy, that's what it was, a four-wheeled toy. Alright, so great looking model here from Greenlight. Digging it. Let's take a look at a couple other models, of course. So let us start with the regular 1/64 scale comparisons, and the first one is the other Greenlight I have. It's one of those Italian Job movie, and we're talking the real Italian Job with Michael Caine and Benny Hill, which is a great movie. I suggest you watch it. They're like driving through sewer systems, and on the Autodrome on the top of a building in Rome, I think it was, the Fiat headquarters, if I recall. Anyways, it's another great model here. In this one, the headlights, again, since they have a mesh over them, they don't look so bad to me. And this one actually has a license plate, you know, from the movie, I imagine. So this one actually has better, more realistic details. You know, the windshield also has some sort of sticker on it. So it's coincidence that they both have white interiors. Interesting. Alright, let's take a look at a couple other small cars I have in my collection. I really like these small cars for some reason. So I have a Konami. It's called a Mazda Carol, and that's just a funky looking car, the way the rear is styled. Yeah, I believe it was a rear-engined car, so that's the reasoning, maybe, at least as to why the vents are in the back. And then we have a Honda ZGS, which is a K-Class car. think that's a 360cc, probably from like the 60s if I had to guess. Just guessing, of course. We, if you want to go even smaller, Schuco has this BMW Isetta police car there. That thing actually has 4 wheels. It looks like a trike, but it's 4 wheels, powered by a BMW motorcycle engine. And then, let's see, I have another Konami branded car, a Subaru 360, and I think that might be Subaru's very first car in history. It's another K-Class car. So, well, before I go to the top view, so if you're unaware of how big or small these little vehicles are, a modern vehicle, granted it's a big one, a Bentley Mulsanne by Kyosho. Alright. So I'm going to get rid of these and switch over to some other minis. Alright, so other non-scale minis. This is a freebie of a rally car that came with some sort of canned coffee in Japan. I forget who made it, though. It has no branding at all on the bottom. It's totally blank. It's weird to have a promotional item without any information about the product they're promoting. But who knows? Alright, so I have a Chorokyu Mini, and it's a really weird casting. It's one of their early castings. It looks like a Lego car. And then here's another freebie with nothing on it. I think this one is by Kirin Fire Coffee, though, if I recall. And then the last one is a rally version from Toy East, the Tiny brand. And that's, I think, a 155 scale, if I recall. Maybe bigger. If you're into moving parts, this one has opening doors and a engine cover and maybe even a trunk. So it's not really my cup of tea, but anyways, let's get the top view, bearing in mind that they're not to scale. Alright, time for this guy to spin on its own. You notice these photos in the background. You know, the Mini was such a miraculous packaging marvel by Alec Isagnosis. He was able to fit 4 adults into such a small vehicle, and yet this thing became a very competitive race car. It would take on, you know, like V8 powered vehicles, right? And then it won the Monte Carlo Rally 4 years in a row. Technically it was disqualified 1 year, but it won the race. And then it won a whole bunch of road racing championships, I believe, as well. But correct me if I'm wrong on that one. I'm more into rally racing. So, it's a great part of British history, and it still exists today, although it's owned by Germans now. Okay, well, anyways, a commenter mentioned that Greenlight might be putting out the classic rally cars. And I really hope they do, because I will definitely buy those for sure, because that is my cup of tea. Okay, I will see you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.